Have you ever looked at a photograph that instantly stopped you in your tracks and wondered, how did they capture that moment so perfectly? Maybe it was the way the light seemed to wrap around the subject, or the tiny detail frozen in time, or simply the emotion that felt so alive you could almost step inside the frame. The truth is, great photography isn't just about owning an expensive camera. It's about learning the secrets, the techniques, and yes, even the mistakes that no one talks about. And today I'm going to take you deep inside the world of photography in a way that might just change the way you look at your own pictures forever. But before we dive in, let me ask you something. When was the last time you looked back at your own photos and thought, ugh, why doesn't it look the way I imagined? Drop your answer in the comments because I guarantee you're not alone. Most beginners, and even some advanced photographers, struggle with the same issues. Blurry shots, bad lighting, confusing camera settings, and photos that just don't pop. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know the technical side of photography, you'll also understand how to tell stories that pull people into your images. Let's start with something most photographers don't admit. Your camera doesn't actually matter as much as you think. Yes, you heard that right. Whether you're shooting on a DSLR, a mirrorless camera, or even just your smartphone, the key to capturing jaw-dropping photos lies in three things: composition, light, and timing. If you master these, you could take a breathtaking shot with nothing more than your phone. In fact, let me challenge you right now. The next time you go out, try taking your favorite shot of the day with your phone, not your camera. Post it on Instagram and then come back here and tell me in the comments if anyone could even tell the difference. Spoiler alert, they probably won't. But here's where it gets interesting. Let's talk about light, because photography literally means drawing with light. Yet most beginners ignore it completely. Have you ever taken a portrait indoors and wondered why your subject looks flat, lifeless, or even a little ghostly? That's because your camera is only recording the light you give it. Natural light, especially the golden hour, that magical time just after sunrise or just before sunset, is one of the best-kept secrets of professional photographers. Shoot during golden hour, and suddenly your photos have warmth, depth, and emotion. But here's the twist. Bad light can be just as powerful if you know how to use it. A rainy day, for example, with gray clouds and soft shadows, can create a moody, cinematic atmosphere. So the next time the sky looks gloomy, don't put your camera away. Pick it up and experiment. Who knows? That bad light might give you the most dramatic shot you've ever taken. Now let's tackle the biggest monster in photography, camera settings. This is where people often give up because, let's be honest, words like aperture, shutter speed, and ISO sound intimidating. But here's the truth. Once you understand how they work together, your camera becomes less of a mystery and more of a tool you can control with confidence. Think of aperture as the eye of your camera. A wide-open aperture, like f1.8, lets in more light and creates that dreamy blurred background that everyone loves in portraits. A small aperture, like f16, keeps everything sharp, which is perfect for landscapes. Shutter speed, that's simply how fast your camera blinks. A fast shutter speed freezes motion. Think sports photography or birds in flight. While a slow shutter speed lets you capture motion blur, like silky waterfalls or light trails at night. And then there's ISO, the sensitivity of your camera's sensor. Keep it low in bright conditions for crisp, clean shots, but don't be afraid to raise it in low light if you need to. Yes, there might be some grain, but sometimes that grain adds character. Here's the secret no one tells you. Mastering the exposure triangle isn't about memorizing settings. It's about practicing until it becomes second nature, like riding a bike. But let me pause here and ask you, which setting do you struggle with the most? Aperture, shutter speed, or ISO? Drop your answer in the comments because I want to know where you're at. You might be surprised at how many people are wrestling with the same one. Now let's dive into the art of composition. This is where photography goes beyond science and becomes storytelling. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools is the rule of thirds. Imagine dividing your frame into 9 equal boxes like a tic-tac-toe board. Place your subject along those lines or at the intersections, and suddenly your photo feels balanced and engaging. But here's where the suspense kicks in. Sometimes breaking the rules creates even stronger images. Center your subject in the middle, tilt your horizon, or cut off a part of the frame, and you'll get a photo that feels bold, intentional, even cinematic. That's the beauty of composition. It's both structured and wild at the same time. Speaking of cinematic, let's talk about perspective. Most people shoot everything from eye level, and that's fine, but it's predictable. Want to instantly make your photos more interesting? Change your perspective. Shoot from the ground, climb higher, tilt your camera, or even shoot through objects like leaves, windows, or fences to frame your subject. Suddenly, you're not just taking a photo, you're creating a scene. And here's a fun experiment you can try today. Take 10 photos of the same subject, but from 10 different angles. I promise, at least one of them will surprise you. Now here's something that might shock you. Some of the best photographers in the world actually take terrible photos. A lot of them. They just don't show you those shots. The difference between an amateur and a professional isn't that pros never mess up. It's that they keep shooting until they find the magic. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes beginners make is snapping a single photo and assuming they've got it. But professionals? They shoot dozens, sometimes hundreds of frames, adjusting slightly each time until they nail the one. So if you're scrolling through your gallery and thinking, wow, most of these look bad, don't be discouraged. That's not failure. That's photography. Let's shift gears and talk about storytelling. Because photography isn't just about pretty pictures, it's about connection. Every great photo tells a story, whether it's a laugh frozen midair, a quiet street glowing under neon lights, or a landscape that makes you feel small in the best possible way. The trick is to ask yourself before pressing the shutter, what am I trying to say here? Maybe it's joy, maybe it's solitude, maybe it's the beauty of imperfection. Once you know your story, your camera becomes a tool for communication. And when your audience feels something, they remember your photo long after they scroll past it. But let's not ignore the digital side of photography. In today's world, editing is part of the process. That doesn't mean faking your photos. It means enhancing what's already there. Programs like Lightroom and Photoshop, or even mobile apps like Snapseed, let you adjust colors, contrast, and sharpness to bring your vision to life. The key is subtlety. A little boost in exposure, a touch of warmth, or a slight crop can transform a good photo into a great one. But overdo it. Crank up the saturation, add heavy filters, or blur everything, and you risk losing the authenticity. Here's a question for you. Do you prefer editing your photos or keeping them straight out of camera? Let me know in the comments because that debate never gets old. And speaking of debates, here's one that stirs up the photography world. DSLR versus mirrorless. Some swear by the durability and battery life of DSLRs, while others love the compact size and cutting-edge technology of mirrorless cameras. The truth? Both can produce incredible images. What matters more is how comfortable you are with your gear and whether it fits your style. So don't stress about upgrading to the latest model just because everyone says you should. Use what you have, master it, and when you outgrow it, then upgrade. Remember, the best camera is always the one in your hands. Now let me leave you with this. Photography is not about perfection. It's about perspective. It's about freezing the fleeting, capturing the unnoticed, and revealing the beauty in chaos. The next time you pick up your camera, don't chase the perfect shot. Chase the meaningful one. Because years from now, you won't remember the exact settings you used or the lens you had. You'll remember the story. So what's the story you want your photos to tell? That's my challenge for you this week. Go out, shoot with intention, and come back here to share your story in the comments. Because photography isn't just about taking pictures. It's about building a community of storytellers who see the world in their own unique way. And if this video gave you even one new idea, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe for more photography secrets, and share this with a friend who's just starting their journey. Because the truth is, the more we learn together,